Right. What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Adrian Nyce. Welcome to another episode of Mouthin Out. Right now, I'm with another special guest. Right now, I'm here with
Adam Glove.
Adam Glove, the man, the myth, the legend, owner of Affinity Nightlife in the building. How you doing today?
Good. Let's get it.
Thank you for joining us today. So, as you guys know, I'm not in Charlotte anymore. So, this is in LA, happening in Hollywood. If you're not here, you should be here. Okay, Adam Glovsky, how are you doing? Thank you for joining us. You doing good today?
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. Got some great projects I'm working on. Excited to be on the show. It's great.
All right. So what I like to do is I like to bring, I like to paint a picture, paint a timeline, bring my audience through your whole come up. Okay. So first, can you kind of just talk about where you're from, where you grew up?
Yeah. So I was born right by UCLA in the Westwood area. Moved when I was 9 to Pasadena, South Pasadena. That's where I went to high school. Kind of started everything out.
And so in high school, what were you like in high school? What was young Adam Glove like in high school?
Man, not a club promoter or party promoter or nightlife impresario that you'd expect.
Yeah.
You know, I just honestly probably played basketball for 10 hours a day.
Were you into the books also? Like, was school a big, education a big part in high school?
Nah, to be honest, like I did good just because, I think, I have smart parents and good genes where it comes to that. But, it was always just an assumption that I would go to college and do all that because that's what my family did. And, I just loved playing basketball, was a little shy socially around the girls, stuff like that.
And look at you now. No.
Yo, anyone can do it.
Okay, and so, what was it like in your household? So like, you had your mom and your dad, right, in your household?
I did, yeah.
What were they hard on you? Were they strict? Were they more so parents you could talk to about anything? Were they like just what was it like in your household?
They were doing their thing. To be honest, like that, we had like a caregiver type person at the house. To be honest, I kind of got away with whatever I wanted to do, which in some ways you could say was a good thing because, I had some fun and all that. But in another way, it took me a little while to like become more disciplined, both from a business and a personal standpoint.
Okay, and so after high school, you went to college, correct?
Yep. USC, go Trojans.
And so I remember you telling me you jumped to a couple of places, correct?
Actually, that was in grad school. So for college, I graduated from high school, went to USC, and finished up there.
Okay, and what were you studying?
Business.
Business. So after you got your first 4 years?
Actually, it ended up being like 4.5, maybe even 5. I don't remember. I studied abroad and then kind of was chilling. It was fun.
So, okay, now I think is the perfect time to talk about this. You said you went to school and you got kicked out or something like that. What was the reason?
Well, yeah. So that was so I graduated from college at USC. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. Had a couple jobs, and I realized like I don't want to sell stamp machines. I don't want to do marketing for cookware or whatever. That was what I was doing. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back and get my MBA. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but knew I kind of liked marketing. So I went to the #1 school for consumer packaged goods, which was Indiana University. Obviously not from the Midwest, didn't know anyone there, and went there with a ton of swag coming from LA, all that stuff, and perhaps a little too much, So, without getting into all like the minor details, ended up getting expelled.
Was it Was it an altercation that happened? Was it like,
I mean,
you ain't got to go too deep, but just kind of.
it was nothing. I mean, I had an internship for Nestle, the packaged goods company, and basically, like, I didn't get the job after the internship, um, and that was due to some other things that I could have worked on. But anyways, so afterwards, I asked my boss. I'm like, well, can you still write me a letter of recommendation for another job? He's like, yeah, I got you. Just write it and I'll sign it. And I sent out the letter before he signed it. Basically, even though he said it was fine, I just didn't have the official signature. Like it,
So that caused you.
yeah,
It's just a domino effect.
it was a lot going on. Yeah, like I also like had isolated myself. Like I was going to like Vegas. My boy Virgil, who actually is the um, you know, global VP of marketing for Off White and Louis Vuitton.
In the building.
Yeah, but like I would go see him in Chicago. I'd go to New York. I go back to LA. I had a girl over here at the time, so I just wasn't connecting with any students there. So it was very easy for them to kind of not rule in my favor. And then when they had like a little hearing, I just didn't approach it right. I wasn't the person I am today, just to be honest.
I feel it. And so fast forwarding to you and your friend. You were working with a guy and y'all you guys decided to just go for promotion and stuff like that, correct? Let's talk about that a little.
Yeah, yeah. So the way I got started promoting in general or working in nightlife, I was in a fraternity at USC. I wasn't the social chair. I wasn't the guy that everyone knew at USC or anything like that. I was in a fraternity. I did know a decent number of people, but it's not anything I would have ever thought I would end up doing. But I was in New York, and kind of been through a couple things, and the social scene allowed me to meet some people and have some fun. So, anyways, I started promoting, kind of bounced around, working for different promoters in New York. And then I reached a point where I was almost done with grad school. Finally went to Fordham, finished, graduated. I have my MBA. You know what I'm saying? But so I was the best promoter for this one guy and this other dude, Mike K. As a lot of people know him in New York, Mike Konevsky. He was
In the building.
Yep. He was the biggest promoter for this other guy, and he was working at Merrill Lynch, and he just hated it. I don't know. It sounds like a cool job, but he didn't like it. I was about to finish, so he's like, yo, let's just give it a shot. And we really wanted to work for this one club at the time. It was called 10 June. It was named after the two owners, both their birthday was June 10th. So they named it 10 June. And at the time, it was literally like insane. Like everyone from Gossip Girl, it was all models. If you're a promoter now, can you imagine like it was unlimited vodka, champagne, tequila all night? So and it was all celebrities. Like the door was really tight. Like, so we're like, let's give it a shot.
Um, what like your first year doing it? What was it like? Was it hard? Was it something that you just loved, or
I mean,
did you learn a lot?
I mean, with the promoting itself, I mean, to be perfectly honest, no shade at anyone who promotes, but I don't think it's that hard. Like there are worse things to be doing in the world than having to just hit up girls all day and go talk to them and stuff like that. Like, do you have to put in time doing that? Yeah, of course, but like a lot of people are putting in time, behind a desk doing spreadsheets for 10 hours a day, which I'm doing a little more of now. But anyways.
Would you say that your education helps you in promotion? Do you think that is a big thing?
No. It helps me now because like I've been in the game now for like 15 years and I'm starting to have more strategic meetings with brands and doing like big events where we want to get sponsorships. But with promoting a club, it's much more about street smarts than the book smarts, and like doesn't matter if you're 17 and you drop out of school and you just have the right personality and just go out and expand your network, you'll be fine.
Okay. So I have this. You do you know what an elevator pitch is?
Yeah.
Okay, you'd be surprised at how many people don't. So, so basically, I'm going to paint this picture, and within this picture, I want you to pitch your company, Affinity Nightlife, to the masses on why they should, when they come to LA or any type of event, they should look towards you and come to you for that. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the picture. So boom. Uh, we're on a big stage. We're on a big stage. You have the opportunity. All cameras are on you. You have the opportunity to talk to. Let me see. Like, what's a good number? Like 30 million people. 30 million people are looking at you. All eyes are on you. You have 1 minute to talk to them. Pitch your company. Pitch yourself, and why they should, fuck with you. Basically.
I mean, um, the key thing, like when you come to LA, if you're looking for something fun to do, we really have our hands in everything, and we also understand like what people are looking for based on, how old they are, the size of their group, etc. And the really cool thing is like when we started out, it was all about nightclubs. But as you know, and a lot of people know, like nightclubs, the door can be very discerning. So, if you're a bunch of guys, you don't want to spend a lot of money, maybe you won't get in. But as we've expanded, now we can provide restaurant recommendations, hotel recommendations. Obviously, we have not only nightclubs that have that really strict door for people that want to spend money or really really beautiful women, but other places they can go in and just pay the cover. And the really cool thing is we have someone on site at each party for the most part. So that's really where the difference is because like if you are staying in a hotel, you see a concierge, you're like, "Hey, what should I do tonight?" And they're like, "Oh, go to Sound nightclub." And you go there and you don't know anyone, probably still going to have to wait in line for 45 minutes and you get there and the cover may not be what you thought it was going to be. Basically, your experience is not going to be that amazing as if you have someone there. They're actually going to take care of you. And we definitely take care of everyone who comes to visit LA, is from here. It's my city, I got you.
There you go, Adam Glovsky, keys to the city, Mr. Gatekeeper himself. And if people want to tap in with you, what's your website? What's your Instagram, so they can, kind of just take a look at you, everything.
Yeah, so my personal Instagram is just at Adam Glove, Glove, like a glove you'd wear. Our website is affinity with an A, nightlife.com, affinitynightlife.com, and then our IG is affinity.nightlife.
Where did the name come from? Affinity Nightlife. Why that name?
Actually, the name's been around for a minute. It started in New York with me and my original partner. I don't even remember exactly where we came about it, but we were just kind of brainstorming and we both liked it. So we're like, okay,
This is it.
that's the one, yeah. And then I moved back out here, and we'd actually switched it to another name that another promotions company had here. So we just moved back to it, and then yeah.
So that was in New York when you and him started your thing and started doing that. Then both of you guys came to LA, or was it just you?
No, actually, like we had a falling out in New York, so like we probably worked together for I don't know 3 4 years, and then I worked with a couple other people in New York before I moved back. He's still in New York. He does New York and Miami. Yeah, and like when I first moved back, I was back and forth to New York a lot. Like I was still running parties in New York while I was in LA, and it was just doing too much. Like I realized that you can be mediocre in multiple cities or doing multiple things, or you can really try and be great doing one thing. And I really wanted to really try and run LA, which is why like a lot of people ask me like, okay, why aren't you expanding and doing a lot more events in San Diego, Las Vegas, kind of low hanging fruit, secondary markets, and I feel like there's a lot more room to grow in LA before we go there.
Um, so was the falling out the cause for you to move back, or was it just you wanted different scenery, or et cetera?
No, New York is a different beast, man.
Definitely.
I mean, like, I was definitely still making money and successful, but I was pretty lost in the sauce. I was younger. I was, had a lot of temptation around me, or whatever you want to call it. Um, so you reach a point where you're like, this is just not good for me. It was fun, all that, but it was time to come home, be around my support system, and you know, yeah. I mean, that was that was the primary thing.
So like your health, your well being, but also still trying to be successful while keeping your mind and everything.
Yeah, I mean, like I have a lot of internal motivation. I always have. And even though I had a lot of acquaintances, probably not a lot of like really tight friends in New York. Um, I still was motivated that whole time, but it reached a point where like no one was looking at me and saying like, "Bro, like you're partying too hard every night," like or at least not someone who I was listening and I was um it was it was just too much. I need to take a step back.
Lost in the sauce, like he said.
Yeah, man.
Boy. Okay, so I got this segment called What the Fuck is Going On? What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on with these guys storming the Capitol building, the US Capitol building? It happened a couple of, weeks ago, a month ago. What was your reaction to that and like first impression?
I mean, to be honest, I don't like getting into politics, and like, I don't want to lose any followers or any shit like that. But I wasn't that surprised. I mean, if you look at the entire Trump presidency, like all this shit, it's like a reality TV show, and like I feel like he's almost like a puppet master, like pulling the strings, and it's all just for himself to get more impressions, more people talking about him, I mean, it's surreal to even think about it, but at the end of the day, like, I mean, think about all the stuff that's happened. With him almost getting impeached and like a million different things in his presidency, like that lies and all this stuff that no one else would get away with, and it kept happening.
Do you think so? Before Trump went into presidency, he was, you know, that guy, going. It was I don't know how to explain it, but the right words or whatever. But people looked at him a different way. So after his presidency, do you think he'll be looked at the same way and can go back to the popularity that he had, positive popularity that he had, et cetera, et cetera?
I mean, yes and no. I think he's going to be even more popular, but you know, the dude was just so divisive. It's like, ugh, I mean, like that. It's the exact opposite of what I'm trying to do with being an event curator. You want to bring people together, and like his whole thing was, like I know who fucks with me. I'm gonna tell them exactly what they want to hear, even if they're white supremacists, even if they're the the top 1%, 1%, etc. But I think he'll be anything he does. He starts a new reality show, whatever. It'll blow up because all those people. I mean, 70 million people voted for him. Are all tuning in. A lot of them are fucking fanatics too.
70 million
That's
people.
right.
But I'm sure it's around there. But that's crazy. That's a lot. That's a lot of people
Yeah, I
to
mean,
have influence over.
yeah, I mean, I've told a lot of people, and I've had conversation like from a marketing standpoint. Trump really has. It was genius, but from being a good dude standpoint, maybe not so much. But like, to appeal to a lot of these disenfranchised people, blue collar workers in the Midwest, and tell them jobs aren't going to Mexico and China. It works.
Okay, so what the fuck is going on with COVID? What is going on? So like I'm from Charlotte, the East Coast, down south or whatever case may be. COVID hit, definitely stuff shut down, but I don't think it was as bad as the Hollywood West Coast. Can you kind of elaborate what it was like during 2020 and now? And you're in the nightlife scene, so it hit y'all hard.
Yep. Um, I mean, it's still surreal having been almost a year, you know. But number one, without a doubt, LA's been the worst. You know, everything is the slowest to reopen. Even now, the least amount of bars, restaurants, no clubs, no fans in arenas, all that happening. But um, in terms of like what the entertainment options have been during this period, or what I've been up to, you know, I've mainly been working with the places that can open. So, work with a restaurant that has like an open air roof that can open called Classic Cat. Done marketing consulting for this outdoor bar called Berkshire House that has been really successful because they can legally open. But um, yeah, I mean, it's just weird. You have probably, I'd say, 80-90% of nightlife people, either they've found another job or a lot of them just haven't been doing anything this whole time. And it's crazy, and hopefully it gets better sooner than later.
So, before COVID, kind of just talk about the grind. Like, how many clubs where you kind of had your hands in week to week, and then, when COVID hit, like, what happened to them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, but we were, really hitting our stride in our high point. Probably had a relationship with pretty much every nightclub in the city. Did anything from having a promotional team that would bring 15 to a couple hundred people to there, or we ran a weekly party there. Did about 30 to 50 of our own events, and then what we really started to move towards is hospitality consulting. So go to a bar, a venue, a bar, restaurant, lounge, and say, I noticed that you're not that busy. I think I can help, and figure out who would be the people that would be interested in going, and figuring out ways to get them in there, also helping them with their social media, marketing, staffing, a lot of things to make sure that the service is great, the product is great, and then we get the people in there, the people have a good experience, and they come back.
And so, when COVID hit, did a lot of the clubs, well, I'm sure they shut down, but like, are they just no more, or you think they'll reemerge as the same club, or you think they'll be turned into something else?
Yeah, I mean, like I love knowledge, particularly in my industry. So I listen to a ton of podcasts with different hospitality owners and stuff like that. All of them are super positive. Um, you know, uh, and I agree. I don't think they're wrong that the demand is through the roof. Especially of people that haven't left their house in a year. They're gonna want to go out and have a couple drinks and whatever. Let loose. But um, I think things are going to change a little bit in society. Like, I think that a lot of this work from home is here to stay. Um, people sanitizing and stuff like that. It doesn't just. Anyways, point being is like, clubs will reopen at some point, slowly. Even in LA, which has been insanely slow. But they'll roll out like 25% full with some spacing, then 50%, and then when everyone has the option to have the vaccine, then they're open. But at this point, you have to look at it this way: like, how much can one person bleed, right? I think we were talking about that. We went on a hike the other day. It's like, if you're a big company, like you have Tao Group that's owned by Madison Square Garden, or SB that owns hotels, restaurants. They have other forms of income. Um, they'll be able to be open in 2 years. So is Live Nation, right? But if you just own one nightclub and you either are still paying rent or are gonna owe the rent, it's hard. Like, how long can you stay not making any money? No matter how passionate you are, how much you love the industry and want to do it. It's a lot of those might not come back.
That's crazy to think about. For real. That's really insane. What's next for you? What's next for you and your company? What's coming up?
Yeah. So right now, this second, we're still doing consulting for some of those different places. Feel free to hit me up if you guys want to do anything. There are options here in LA, but
And is it just for people in LA or surrounding areas, or does that olive branch extend to across the nation?
it can. I mean, if you want to go out in Miami, you want to go out in New York, you want to go out in Chicago, I can put you in touch with someone. Are we like really involved with what's going on there? No, not really. And we're not. I'm not focused on that now because even those cities are not what they used to be, right? In the short term. But in terms of what's next, I want to keep moving in this direction of hospitality consulting and really working with not only necessarily a club, a bar, a restaurant, but even like brands, influencers, people, and help them really achieve their goals, whether it's more followers, brand deals, sponsorships, or just getting more people to buy their product or come in. Like we were talking about this the other day. Like the secret sauce of Affinity Nightlife is not rocket science. We're basically a sales organization. So what I do is we bring in promoters, VIP hosts, or different staff, and they help promote venues. And then we together as a team bring in enough people who spend enough money that the venue's happy. I make a little bit of money. Everyone gets a check, and then everyone leaves with a smile on their face. So that's something that I feel like can be replicated through a lot of different synergistic categories.
I agree. I'm excited to see what happens 2021 with Affinity and Nightlife, the reemergence of it. Definitely. What's the ultimate goal? Do you have an ultimate goal? So I want an ultimate goal for you, and then I want an ultimate goal for your company.
Yeah, I mean, I'm single right now. I would love to yeah, hit me up at Adam Glove. But anyways, um I'd love to meet someone special. For me, from a individual standpoint, like my mental health is so important, especially right now. Like it's been hard for me, like walking around, seeing people in mass, buildings boarded. It's weird. So I've been meditating, going on walks, doing things for me personally, and as I do that, the work kind of falls into place. But from an Affinity Nightlife standpoint, I think I just want to continue to have events and things in the short term so people know that we're still a great resource. We have their back. If when they come here and they reach out to me or someone on our team, we'll be able to plug them up, and then we'll be ready for when things reopen. And look, I'm always open for opportunities. We've done a lot of different pivots during the pandemic just to kind of keep the lights on, and I'm going to continue to keep my ears open. So I don't know what the business is going to look like yet in 5 years, but I'm excited to find out.
That's what I was about to ask next. Like, I'm gonna say 10 years. What do you think? Like, you know, what's Affinity gonna be looking like? Is we still gonna be running it? Are we looking to maybe sell it at that point, or maybe 20 years? And like, what?
I mean, yeah, hopefully I'm retired in 20 years. I mean, who knows? You're definitely not going to see me in a nightclub, every night. You probably won't in 5 years. You probably won't now, but um, you know, I think the goal is to really. We were talking about this a lot the other day. I want to surround myself with smart people where we can both provide equal value, and we could end up, kind of. I think where we kind of fall is into more of a promotions and marketing company. So we could work with anything from apparel to cannabis, and we work with a couple of venues, to really help them out. I think that's more what we do. Hopefully, I'll find someone who I can really partner with, and they run more of like the promotions night to night at a nightclub. I spoke to this guy, Mark Tung. He owns Made Nightlife. Really smart guy. We went to college together, and I said, Mark, you're rich. I mean, he is. He's a millionaire. Really savvy, smart stock investor. Um, why are you still standing outside? One Oak on a Tuesday or whatever. He's like, I want to do it all. You know. I have multiple streams of revenue. I've built up a brand, and I have money just coming in from these club parties, and I have other people that kind of run the day to day. Um, and that was the first I'd really thought of things in that way. I used to always look at it as like you're either great at maybe one or two things or average at 10. And I realized that like if you have really smart, good partners, then you can do a lot of stuff and make money, and that's how you become really rich, which would definitely is always the motive.
Hell yeah, we all want to be really rich. Okay, so to wrap things up, I have this last segment called One Piece of Advice. Okay. So first, I would like to give you, or I would like for you to give one piece of advice to up and coming promoters looking to, take the industry by storm.
The biggest thing I would say is like relax. You know, pay your dues. It doesn't mean you work for free for years or anything like that, but if you have like a good mentor who's kind of showing you how to do things, or in general, like even if you have to work for like a great club in the short term and not make money, just take your time. Like if no matter what it is, like if this is something that you're really passionate about, when you become good, people will recognize that and they'll start calling you, but like I have people all the time who reach out to me and they're like, oh, I know all these models or big clients, and they're like aggressively negotiating a deal and I don't even know who they are. I don't know if what they're saying is true or is complete bullshit, you know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking in my head like, this guy's not going to produce. I don't even want to give him a try. As opposed to if someone hits me and says, look, just give me a shot. Just give me a table and a couple bottles and check out what I can bring. Everyone's going to say yes to that, or let me work with you. Let me show you what I can do, and then they produce and it works out, but that entitled attitude off the jump is I don't think it's going to get you very far, and I think it's going to turn off enough people to where it's like, you could have had the opportunity to work with everyone. Now you're
Working with nobody.
yeah, or maybe one or two spots exactly.
Okay. Wow, that was great advice, actually. Okay, so now can you give um one piece of advice to 21-year-old Adam Glove? 21-year-old Adam Glove. Where was he? What was he doing? Give one piece of advice to that guy.
Yeah, I mean, my thing, and this is something that I probably got better at maybe 5 years ago, was, we talked a little bit about my childhood and like getting away with a lot of stuff. And this made me a very good salesperson, in the past, but like you can't, it only works for so long. You know what I mean? Like bullshitting, not being upfront, not being transparent with people, all that type of stuff. And it ends up burning a lot of relationships, and you lose a lot of credibility. And I did that for way too long. Once I stopped doing that, once I started under promising and over delivering, being like straight up real with people about like, look, I can't do this. This is not something that I'm going to be successful with. Um, and just being upfront and honest in general. Like, had I have really started to do that in life and as a person earlier, I think my success would have probably came a little faster.
Also, great advice. Okay, Adam Glove in the building. Thank you for joining us today. Any last words before we get out of here?
No, man, I appreciate the time. You know, the yeah, I guess just the last thing I would say is like, and I know it's kind of a lot of people are talking about it, on social media, different things, but don't ignore your mental health right now. I talk about it a lot because I know I've wrestled with it. And if you want to reach out to me to chat, I'll always be there. But like, if you do that, find whatever works for you. Like I've been just going outside, going on walks, meditating, trying to stay away from my phone while I'm chilling watching TV. Make sure you take care of yourself. If you do that, we'll all get through this together, and then we'll be back making money. Whether you want to be in the club at a restaurant or, a concert, whatever you enjoy doing.
All right, mental health. Y'all reach out to him. Where can they reach out to you one more time? Drop the Instagrams and website one more time.
Yeah. My personal IG is at Adam Glove, like glove you'd wear. Um, nickname. IG for the company is at Affinity Nightlife, and the website is affinitynightlife.com, and that's affinity with an A.
All right, y'all be sure to reach out to my man Adam, especially if you touch down in LA, so you can, basically have access to the city, know where to go, know what to do. We want to make sure you have a good time, a great experience. All right, this is Adrian Nyce. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mouthin Out, MOUTHINOUT. And like I always say, F what you talking about, because over here we mouthing out. Peace.
Ah!